There you go. Okay, guys, from an injury perspective, Kobe Durant will be limited. He has been medically cleared to return, so it's good to be able to get him back out in a limited capacity. Everybody else will be full, and then we activated Tyler Higbee. We'll place Nick Hampton on IR, like I had spoken to you guys about, and so we'll need to have a good day today. That's something that we're working through right now.
What's it mean to have Higbee back in the fold?
It's great. I think it's a tremendous credit, like we've talked about, Gary, to the work that he's done behind the scenes out here, the influence and effect and impact really that he has on his teammates. And so it means a lot from just his overall leadership and then what he can provide on the grass.
Any more discussion or any discussion regarding Odell Beckham Jr. possibly?
No, we haven't talked about that.
So are you, I mean, is it safe to say that you guys just aren't
I love Odell.
We haven't talked about it.
Yeah, it's not something that I think is something that we're looking at right now.
Okay. As you watched earlier in your career, you watched Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers kind of go out of NFC North. Any recollections from those years?
It's two great players. Two guys that have done it at a really high level. I think the essence of playing quarterback involves so many different things, but you talk about changing arm slots, creating off schedule, understanding of what are the defensive structures and how do you move and manipulate defenders. And both of those guys have been doing those types of things at a really high clip. And I think, the ability to be able to make all types of throws, but then also have incredible understanding above the neck of the, all things that involve this game. And it's not just the 11 on offense, it's all 22. When you're looking at defense, what are the intents? What are the problems I need to solve? So it's two greats, two guys that, I look at as Hall of Famers. I think you'd have to talk to him about that. I think he's been pretty consistent at him, and he knows too. I think what I would guess he would say is I'm playing their defense and want to do the best job that I can to try to lead our offense while, being a positive influence on this team as a leader. But he's pretty consistent. I think that's the rare thing when you look at both he and Aaron. Consistency, I think, is the truest measurement of performance. These guys have consistently had the ability to be able to prepare week in and week out, understanding that humility is only a day or a week away in this league. And so you got to be able to bring it. And it doesn't matter who you're playing. Every single team in this league presents challenges. And I think both of those guys would say that. But I think there's a mutual respect I would imagine they both have for one another. Oh, campus, huh? Nice. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, I've never been to that campus. Where is that?
What can you remember about the early conversations you guys dug into specifically as it pertained to the run game?
Well, it's really, okay, what's the foundation? What are the things that he's done? It's really similar to what Matt and I did when we first got here and the rest of the offensive coaching staff. And so it's kind of the same thing. There was a lot of time spent in terms of, getting the offensive coaching staff hired, brought Mike on. There's a familiarity. We had watched each other's tape, so everything is so easily accessible, but kind of what's the intent? What's the personnel? And, it was a lot of that stuff, but good part of it too was Mike learning, all right, what have we done? And then let's implement some of the different things that kind of fits within the framework of our structure.
Players have talked about really feeling the effort collectively from the coaches and wanting to establish a true personality within that phase. Pretty much the second they arrived on campus that year.
Mm-hmm.
Steve has talked about it being very clear to him that he was going to be a part of that next wave.
Sure.
Well,
I think that was truly an evolution throughout the season. You look at it, a lot of the stimulus was as a result of trying to solidify and firm up the interior parts of the pocket and protection. And it just so happens that ended up being a little bit more to where we leaned in the run game. But I think that was truly an evolution, as the season went on, as guys got more and more comfortable, that I think kind of peaked toward the latter part of the year. But there was definitely phases of experimenting with different things. But, you look at the Seattle game, we tried to get a bunch of different run schemes off. We got a bunch of runs off. We weren't very efficient, but it did serve us well. But a lot of the schemes that maybe we thought were going to be big parts of it, we kind of ended up, tilting away from. And really, I think every year is a new year. You have to have some foundational philosophies, but I do think you have to have enough complementary mixers because defenses do too good of a job of keeping you honest, being able to, play a bunch of different things that maybe takes away some of the intent of what you're hunting up. And so it's always evolving, but, Steve has ended up being a really good, productive player for us in both phases. And like you've heard me say before, Jordan, I don't think you can really be a complete offense if you don't have the ability to do either or. Now, there's certain things where if they're going to tilt one way or the other, then you have to be able to make them pay. But I've never been a part of a good offense that wasn't efficient and, could hurt you in both phases. Yep.
But this team within this season, is the workload the same, or do you do more workload than next?
Yeah, it's unique because, we can approach it a little bit differently because we had a little bit of a mini bye with our Thursday game. Typically, once you get this late in the season, if you are coming off of a normal Sunday game, maybe you'd be a little bit more above the neck emphasis on a Wednesday. You go Thursday and Friday with kind of a similar format. What's nice about being able to have the mini bye is I think this team really benefits from being able to practice, and we're smart about it. Hey, when we go, we go, but making sure that we understand how intentional we have to be about those reps, and also making sure that the guys are as fresh as possible on Sunday. And, that is something that I think, in collaboration with Reggie and his group, but you don't get better at football without doing it. And you can't just use the games as opportunities to be able to get better. You have to really be able to stress yourself in a positive way where you push yourself past those manageable expectations. That's always the challenge at this part in the year, based on wanting them to be right, but also wanting to ascend and improve. And so that's why you guys hear me talk about the rapport, but some of those reps throughout the week being really selective. And, we got one padded practice left that's allotted, and, and that's a challenge in and of itself. But this will be a little bit more normalized week that is typically reflective of earlier in the season because we're coming off the mini bye. You got any ideas? Maybe we get a cold machine out here, go get in the cold plunge or something like that. So, it's a little bit different where you can do some wet ball drills, just work the ball handling, different things like that. But, I think when the guys get out there, obviously, the ball handling is a little bit different just based on, the temperature. But guys, they do a great job of being able to stay warm in between series. And then when you're out there, usually it takes care of itself. But they got to play in it too. And, we'll handle it the best we can.
How about management of the surface? It's turf. I know they changed it
Yep.
last year, but it's still turf and it's cold. How do you guys mitigate that?
I think you have to be mindful, if the footing actually affects your ability, do you want to activate the 7 studs? The good thing is this time of year last year, now it'll be probably colder than what, from the weather forecast, it'll be colder than what it was with the Giants, but a similar time of year. The footing seems like it holds up pretty good, but if that is an issue, then, Berg always has the 7 studs available for guys.
A couple more guys. You've had some seasons where you guys have won the division, where really 13-3, 12-5. Does this, you're in control of your destiny at this point? Does it feel similar, or does this feel different?
It's like I've told you, you draw on parallels, to try to be able to create a point of emphasis. But I think the more that you're fortunate to sit up here and, be in year 8, the more that you truly realize it's one thing to say every year is a new year. But then when you really say, man, every year is a new year, every week is a new week, you learn to appreciate that through experience. And we could talk for a long, long time about it, but it's different. This season is very different, as was last year, as was the 18 season, as was the 21 season, when you alluded to some of those records. And so what I think you try to do is you just continuously try to be able to evolve, adapt, learn how to positively impact, and, continuously grow with these guys. And so it doesn't remind me of any season. This is very unique in and of itself, and very enjoyable at the same time. Okay? Thanks, guys.
Take any credit from any of the other guys that have been healthy and been playing. What's Tyler going to bring back to your offense?
Obviously a lot of experience within the offense. He's a guy that's been here for a long time. He understands what we're trying to do on every play. He's a great energy guy. I think the biggest thing is I'm just excited for him. What an accomplishment to be able to come back from something like that, and to be able to be available for us. His contributions are obviously going to be between the lines, but also just out there on the practice field. His attitude is infectious, and the way he goes about his business is amazing. So we're glad to have him back. Have I what?
Have you seen that underhand practice?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, ever since we got him back out there, he's just a fun guy to be around. Loves playing this game, whether it's his role on scout team the last couple of weeks or with the offense out there running plays. He's a guy that brings great energy. Yeah, I'm just excited to go up there and play. Obviously, meaningful football in the month of December is an awesome thing to be a part of. We've earned that and got to continue to, earn that opportunity to play games that matter. So, this just happens to be the next one on the list. Obviously, I have a ton of respect for Aaron and competed against him a bunch of times in my career. He's a hell of a player, and does a great job. Still doing a really good job for him. Played fantastic last couple weeks and looks to be, healthy and moving around and doing his thing. I mean, I've had too many to even think about, to be honest with you. But no, it's always a good battle. Like I said, ton of respect for him. Great player in this league, all-time great. Unbelievable talent, accomplished a bunch. So it's always a challenge going against him.
Can we talk about infectious energy? Someone else that comes to mind is Steve Avila. Can you just talk about his personality and the effect that has in the locker room?
Yeah, he's an outgoing guy. He loves to talk, loves to be out there and compete. Some of his best moments I feel like are mic'd up. You don't really get to hear a whole lot from an offensive lineman, and then all of a sudden you hear his stuff and realize how much he just loves going out there and competing between the lines.
Ahead of the 2023 season, that spring, and then into training camp, do you remember about some of the variety you guys were putting into the run game specifically, and how you saw players take to it?
Taking me back right there. No, I think it's ever evolving. I think the cool thing about our coaching staff and our group of players is, coaching staff is willing to push the limits on what guys can do, and guys respond, give it everything they have, and sometimes it works for us, sometimes it doesn't, and we either keep it or we move on. And but it is that creative energy that I think is a great thing, and it's collaborative. And we have unique players at the skill position spots to get those things done.
There are periods when we get to watch the full practices at training camp. There are those periods where you guys are sort of jogging through buckets of plays and talking amongst each other, but also back and forth with Sean.
Yep.
Can you kind of describe what that does for a group to have that fast-paced, ongoing dialogue while installing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. Obviously, we all want to be on the same page. We all want to try to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish on every single play. And sometimes it's good for us to hear it straight from him, and other times it's good for him to hear, maybe from the guys up front and say, that's what if we did it this way? It feels like a little bit more natural, or whatever it is. But he's usually thought of most of those things, and we're just trying to piece together exactly how he wants it done and make sure we go out there and do it.
Aaron Rodgers has accomplished a lot in his career, and so have you. You guys are pretty close in career passing several categories in the top 10. I know you're just focused on this week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who's ahead of you, and do you keep an eye on at all in terms of who you're chasing as you move up some of those career paths?
Not really, to be honest with you. More so focused on just trying to do what I can to help us win each week. At the end of the season, maybe you peek your head up and look. But really, it's this business. I've been a part of it for a long time, and it's so, what have you done for me lately? And either it's something that was positive or something that wasn't. So I'm always just trying to do the best I can the next week and understand that that's really what matters in the moment. And that's kind of how I've lived it for a long time. That frustrates people that ask me questions. My wife sometimes, what are we going to do 3 weeks from now? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just worried about today and maybe tomorrow. So, but it is, how you train yourself to play at this position, play to play, week to week, all that kind of stuff. So it's a long answer for no.
Yeah, I spent 12 years in Detroit. You look now in the West Coast going to the East Coast. What's the challenge? And specifically, like 5 weeks ago, you were in New England. I would guess it's potentially more challenging this deep in the season, or is it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think, once you do it once, you kind of understand what it's about. I kind of like it. You wake up and go play. I'm an early riser anyways. I'm up early anyways. So, our body clock time of 10 a.m. doesn't affect me too much. Get out there ready to play. I mean, when they play the national anthem and the ball's kicked off, the juices better be going. I don't care what time of day it is, night, morning, it doesn't matter to me. Get ready to go play. And I know that our guys will be, up for the challenge.
the idea is to treat every Sunday the same. But now that this team is in first place, there's only 3 games left. You can see kind of the finish line for the postseason. Has practice been the same, or do you notice a little bit more juice out here at all?
Well, I think, Sean challenged, the group as a whole, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and just put a number up there. I think you guys probably know, but put a number up on the screen that said, however many days we had left, and, that were guaranteed to you. And, I think that's something that'll get your attention real quick. You go, hey, I can commit for that long, no doubt. And I think we've had great buy-in from our team since that point. I don't see that, wavering or changing at any point. Cool. Thank you.